Do we need a calendar?
Should be good, thank you. Got some extras, huh?
Yeah, some email.
For 24 or just left over from this year?
I just got them in the mail, 2023.
Huh.
I think it comes from NACO. Some big little kids is for just a
Just wait a little bit. Close enough. Let's get out of here.
Yeah, I agree. Oh, hang on just a second.
Yep. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Morning, Michelle.
Okay. I know you said I didn't have to come, but I thought it was such a beautiful day.
Get you out and about.
There you go.
Yeah.
You fellas happen to look at the minutes?
So moved. We'll second that.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. What else is quick? About number 8, approved courthouse lawn, Benton Park Rec Department.
Yep, hold on here. Just had it. There's a record. That's not on. So they want to use it for the Halloween thing again? That's what, do you want to do Michelle, actually?
Sure.
Yours shouldn't take long either, right?
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Let's start with
So I talked to Ray, was it Thursday when you sent me that?
Yeah. I can give you some background.
Yeah.
When we had our agreement with public health, home health, that satisfied the agreement we have. The federal government has a program, it's called 340B, which allows us to provide drug assistance to, or I guess I should say pharmacy assistance to low income in the county. And so we have agreement with different pharmacies, and we've been doing it since like 2012. Well, since we had that, we just did a different agreement that basically says we're gonna continue to do that and take care of people no matter what their income or whatever. And we just have, one of the requirements to access these funds is you have to have an agreement with a government entity. So
So then. if-
And that's separate from what we got this morning, is it?
Yes,
Okay,
that was new, so that's not even on the agenda
yeah,
for the health stuff.
okay, okay.
yeah. So that's why I came, in case you had questions, because we've been doing it since probably 2012 and providing that. But since this, we thought we'd be official, because we'd always used that other agreement before and then just do a separate one.
Sure,
So we
makes
have
We
that.
sense.
didn't, Ray didn't see a problem either why we wouldn't want to do it either.
So no money for this
No,
services?
no, it's just an agreement. Nope, no money, no money.
No money.
And you've been doing it since 2012, and it
Yeah,
was
yeah,
part
what
of
we
your
did is
other
you
agreement?
have to, it's a federal program and you have to have all these documents and different stipulations. And one of them, yeah, you have to be critical access hospital, rural areas, and you have to have an agreement with a government entity that you're providing services. And at the time, we were with the home health, the public, the health thing. And so this just kind of outlines it out,
Okay.
that we will continue to do that.
Is this automatically renew every
Yeah.
year, or?
I think we did,
Something
I
like
think we
that.
did do it, that it would just automatically renew.
Okay, okay,
And you can terminate it, and, yeah.
sure.
But yeah, they audit us, the federal government audits us every year. And so that's one of the stipulations that you have to have.
Mhm. Yeah, 60 days To terminate, okay, yeah, they've been doing it, I don't see why not. So you need a
I
motion
just want
to
you to be comfortable with it.
make that work?
Yep.
Okay, I'll make that motion that we approve that memorandum of understanding between Benton County and Virginia Gay Hospital.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye,
Aye.
And then we'll just have Teresa sign that.
sure.
All right,
You'll need to scan it to you then?
yeah, then just scan it to me.
Okay.
Thank you very much. It
Thank
was
you
nice
for coming
seeing
in.
everybody.
Yeah.
Okay, Barb.
I'd like to set a land use hearing for Joseph and Emily tomorrow for Tuesday, June 13th at 9:15.
So moved.
And I will second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thanks. See ya.
Bye-bye.
Have a good day.
Thanks.
Did you check the box out here already too?
Yeah, that's what the mail was I was sorting.
Oh, all that?
It was mainly live wires.
So you need to sign it?
On the bottom page, I think the bottom one's gotta be filled out a little bit better. Okay, I got the courthouse one. There's two different dates, let you guys look at them, I figured that. Party in the Park and the Halloween carnival.
You can sign there, and then I'll, your signature of the county.
I think with each of these, the courthouse is not opened, it's just use of the property,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, the grounds. Yeah,
I think the one Saturday we are for election voting, but
oh,
they
okay.
don't ever, once in a while the kids would come in and trick or treat.
Nothing has changed on the rules, has it? I didn't think it would have.
We would revise it.
So this is 6:15 and 10:28. Well, then I'll make a motion that we approve the use of the courthouse lawn for the Benton Park and Rec Departments on the dates of 6/15 of '23 for Party in the Park and 10/28/23 for their Halloween carnival.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
There you go.
On that,
Number 4.
oh yeah, got that. This we have to do every year to certify a list to Department of Human Services for those that applied for tax suspension. We have to just verify that they're eligible. So we don't list their names in the public, but we just verify that that's.
Just the tax number.
Yeah, it's their certification number.
I thought Tim Dilly was, but I do not know.
Since we didn't have a timed item on it, some of those.
No, it's
didn't.
not a timed.
Tim was the one that wanted it on the agenda, I know.
Okay. I'll just ask him when he's coming in. I know we had a gap between 10:30.
Sorry. Make a motion that we approve that tax suspension list.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oh, yeah. I gotta send that in anyway.
Number 11, I wanna wait because I got some of them are coming in, I think.
So that Vermeer paperwork, do we have to sign that or you?
The way I got it set up, we're not gonna pay that until next week on the claims.
So, back to this one we did last week, you talked about it. Don't we have to pay that?
It's supposed to be, yeah.
Or was that it? We just looked at this.
It's a bid for the tower.
Which tower?
This one out here.
Okay. Out of the Barneses?
Yep.
And what are they doing?
Get electricity, REC.
Okay.
Most of the time, they want cash in hand before they start digging.
Correct.
And when I talk to them, hey, this is Benton County, we ain't going nowhere.
So we gotta put it in ahead of time? Or are they gonna make us pay before?
That's what
It's actually a bill. I mean, we could turn it in on the claims.
Next week, I
Next
just
week,
wanted to
too.
make sure how do you wanna pay it though?
Would that come out of the ARPA funds?
I don't really think that's a civil portion.
I don't either.
But it's part of the,
It'd probably be out of the other, out of our capital projects line item.
okay. Because we had money set aside for the towers with the ARPA, is what I was referring to.
Up to 2 million, but it's gotta be for the civil portion, they said.
Okay.
There's no bill on there, no amount on there.
No, but there's, yeah.
I missed it then.
3,000 something.
Right here, $3,943.41, first line.
That includes a transformer and everything, probably. So we gonna pay it or we gonna wait? Pay it next week?
Pay it next week.
Yeah. I don't think
Just turn it on to the claims.
that was, you signed it the end of March.
Yeah.
It's like it's a big hurry.
Is it in the March? We just put it on there last week. You signed this last week. Scott just gave it to me, remember?
Well, that shows March
Yeah.
29th.
But I think that's what he was asking, where we were paying it, so.
How are the towers coming?
I can give you a quick report on it. things are moving ahead. The tower work itself on the towers is done. And then starting this week, now we're meeting every Thursday. So things are moving faster, here. They're starting this week, gonna start putting footings down and pads for the LP tanks and footings underneath where the buildings are gonna go. Here's the timeline, you guys wanna look at it?
The tower up north, we're gonna have to provide electricity to that one too.
Yep.
Does REC have that one too?
Yep.
Good morning, Myron.
Morning.
Initial these two, or those two.
Go ahead.
About 6 months ago, I hired a mechanic in Secretary Road's shop. With it being now 6 months later, according to the union contract, he would be up for a pay increase. So Chris Messner, who was hired back in November, May 21st would be a 6-month anniversary date. So his labor grade would change from a 5A to a 5B, and the rate would increase from $24.89 to $25.37. I have a resolution for approval this morning.
So moved.
And second, Primer, aye.
There's that guy.
Seaman, aye.
Got that, we'll put it on next Tuesday agenda because it needs to be worded in a special way, I think.
I'll just put in there in red, and that'll be my reminder for me, how's that?
I was gonna ask him that, a question, whether he was coming in person or not, and before he got the question answered, he followed back with.
Know what he thinks or not.
Myron, I emailed you and Deb this morning the reminder about the MOU.
Yep,
Did that make sense?
yep. Her and I were talking about it yesterday morning anyway, so.
It might not even be an issue. They might have used that during overtime already. Here, I can take it. Oh, here, take it.
I got your copy.
Oh, okay.
The other question I wanted to bring up this morning, whether a change, I'd say a change is necessary, but whether you make that change today or in a future date, but the handbook right now talks about that if you go out of state on travel, it refers to meals and incidentals, travel outside of the state. See paragraph 3, section A, which is travel within the state of Iowa. Employees may be reimbursed on a per diem basis at the rate of $30 per day for meals and incidentals when traveling basically outside of the neighboring counties of Benton County. That $30 per day, I think, was established in 2007, give or take. It has not been updated since. Having traveled last month to that conference in Alabama, I was starting to put my receipts together. The handbook says you don't need a receipt, you're just doing it on a per diem basis. $30 doesn't go very far on a full day. And so my question is, I should have known that, didn't know that before I left. That's what the handbook says, so I can accept that, but is that something that needs to be evaluated and considered to be increased for future travel? I know you approved somebody else's out-of-state travel here last month. I know with Haley being on the Auditors State Association and Larry with the assessor's office, there are some out-of-state travel that come with our officers type of deal, and although neither one of them have said anything, I guess I'm just asking the question to consider it, or,
You were just the first one
Change
to
it.
encounter it, yeah. But I know we have another one going out of state here coming up too, so.
Sure. $30 a day doesn't cut it.
granted, most of that conference had meals included, but you did have travel down there, travel back, and at least one evening was on our own type of deal, but, I wanted to bring it to your attention if nothing else, and consider it. If you choose
Whatever you,
not to at this point, that's understandable, but
whatever you figured up, how much it costs per day, what did you come up with?
when I got back, I actually started looking at the per diems for the areas, as the government has per diem rates for different areas, you know. Alabama, the area I was at was $69 a day, and it breaks down what the meals would be of that 69, you know. For Iowa right now, based on the U.S. General Services Administration's website, is $59 unless you're in the Des Moines area. I know that some public entities look at the General Services Administration. I think the University of Iowa does that and says basically don't pay a per diem rate that's higher than what the IRS would consider, which I think is using the same GSA. I did look, I seen Iowa State used to be about $30, and they raised it to $35 a day in 2020. You know, because my days weren't full, you know, for anything, you know, I can't answer that question exactly, Gary, but I just, I know that, you know, $30 can just about, amount to an evening meal at many restaurants just for the individual, and that's not going crazy.
Right. Probably does need to get looked at, and I don't have an issue.
I know that Ide Bailey would look at that from a state audit standpoint, you know, at the end of the year. I think that's one area that they tend to, you know, look at and follow what the handbook says. But $30 doesn't go as far as it did today as it did in 2007, which I know looking this morning, I seen that was an agenda item in November of 2007, and I'm wondering if that's when the $30 was set. I think it may have been 20 prior to that, but I don't have all the old copies of the old handbooks like I used to.
So there is a guideline, a GSA, you called it?
Yeah.
Guideline? Okay. I wonder if we could just be so generic as per the GSE guidelines set by the government.
I would just put a dollar amount in there, just change it.
Because you're gonna come back to it again
Yeah.
in a
You mean like
number of
for
years.
in-state use a dollar amount and then out-of-state use the guidelines, or?
Well, because different areas are gonna be different cost factors.
Is that something we need to check with Ide Bailey on what they,
Myron and I talked to Brian a little bit.
And what do you have to say?
Basically, that it probably needs to be revisited, but.
Well, of course it does.
His recommendation is not to go above what the IRS
Yeah,
allows,
yeah.
and I'm
Right,
pretty sure the
right.
IRS would look at this GSA amount for areas and not offer a per diem that's greater than that, otherwise it would need to be taxed.
Yeah,
That's what I was looking at, Rick, if you just change the number in the handbook, it would be a lot easier than putting in another paragraph in there by going by.
well, but it's just for out-of-state travel,
Mhm.
you know.
Well, it does, our handbook does indicate that that you would pay on a per diem basis.
Any county that does not touch Benton County, if I remember right.
Correct.
Get mine out too, look at
Mhm.
it.
Yeah.
I'm recalling.
You turn in receipts for the neighboring touching counties, but outside of that, you would just submit a per diem for your
Right.
travel.
That's why I would think it'd be easier to just change the number.
Yeah, I hate to get too crazy, but like Myron was saying, areas, even in state, this area is $59 unless you're in the Des Moines area, and it's higher. And so if you set it even at 60, and you go to Des Moines for a conference, it's probably coming up a little short. I know. I get it, but, yeah. Okay. And how often are these guidelines, the IRS guidelines, updated?
It looks like annually,
Kind
And
of
they
like
not
they do
change,
like the
but they-
mileage rate and stuff.
but they set it by the federal government year each year. And
Because we automatically adapt our mileage every year too.
Well, we do that, so it wouldn't be that hard to slip that in along with that.
I just need to put an addendum to that handbook, which brings up more things like, because all the revisions that have been done to the handbook, none of the employees have signed off on them, so we're gonna need to do a all employee and
That's something we could do maybe as we get together for that harassment training.
all that stuff needs to be
Yeah,
addressed.
yeah.
Handbook also says that any revisions made does not go into effect until a new handbook is developed. I found that.
So you're trying to tell me that it doesn't do any good to even change this?
I'm just telling you how the handbook reads.
That's basically what you said, though. Change it all we want, but till we change the handbook.
That's basically the verbiage in the handbook.
Until they sign off.
Well, I don't think there'd be an issue along with the mileage schedule to adding that. That way when somebody goes out of state, and they turn in their per diem, they can say, okay, you went to, Arizona for this, in that
Send you there.
region, in the summertime for a meeting, yeah. Okay, I wouldn't have a problem going that route, given a, per diem, for Iowa, and then anything beyond, go with that regional. I don't think that'd be a big deal. And I don't have a problem making that retroactive, Going to those conferences can be, very beneficial. So, and it's not on the agenda, so we can't really act upon it.
We had
Yes, it is,
discussed
isn't
update,
it?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
That way he can turn in his code
Uh-huh,
at the end of the
yes,
fiscal
it
year.
is. I apologize.
Let's see if you make a motion or
I
do
was
something.
just gonna say, if we made a motion
We'll
to
notify all
increase the
employees.
per diem for Iowa to $60 per day, which is what it amounts to, and then follow the GSA
Yes.
/ IRS guidelines, for any other state to be updated annually. Does that make sense?
think so.
Yep.
I mean, it's fair, I think.
In state, we keep it to the, not in adjoining counties. Because we'll leave it the same, because in the, like Lynn County or whatever, we
And
require.
it does not take into,
Yeah,
if you go to Des Moines, it's still $60.
yeah.
And I think we're gonna catch the vast majority of things. It's just gonna be those occasional out-of-state trips.
Yeah.
So, then we shouldn't have to come back and review it all the time.
There isn't that many people who do go out of state, do they?
No.
I know
No.
Mona, she went here not too long ago.
Yeah. They
Did she
usually-
turn in something then too? You don't
You'd have to
remember?
check with claims.
She probably did.
I'm sure she did.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't have a problem if we make it effective July 1.
Okay, we got a motion on the floor.
It doesn't necessarily take care of Myron's scenario, but he said he was all right with it. He just felt that we probably needed to look at it. Wasn't that,
That's what I said.
that's what I thought you said.
Okay.
Then let's make it July 1.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you for catching that, Myron. That's,
60 per day in state, and then the rest of the GST seconds. Okay, got it. And we'll type up a memo or something sometime.
That's all I had for you this morning.
thank you.
Anna?
Fine. So last Thursday, the EMS Association got together and met. We discussed the advisory council that we would like to propose to you. We made some changes on it. It was voted that the service directors would have a vote. The initial one that I showed
Thank
you did not have the service director in that voting capacity. But per vote, it was voted to give the service directors that, but then also have a representative from the service be a voting member as well in absence of the service director. And this would basically allow that service director, if they couldn't make it, their service would still have a vote in whatever was being presented at the advisory council. And then the intent was not to go into these meetings and have a 30-minute catch-up session. It was on the responsibility of the service director to inform whoever their representative was going to that meeting to catch them up to speed so that the meetings could proceed without continuing to go back every meeting and refresh everybody on what was discussed the meeting prior. There's two services that I'm still waiting to hear who their second representative is, besides for the service director. But I think all in all, we could proceed this morning with appointing this. I have had a couple residents in Benton or Benton County that would potentially be interested in this. They missed the deadline for the 9th. I wasn't sure if that was something, if they are interested, if they can still put in an application to be a part of this advisory council, and then those individuals be appointed later if you so chose. And then to keep with the SA6 needs assessment and keep things moving forward for the November election, if we could get a meeting yet in May with the appointed advisory council to start discussing the numbers and education material that we would need to put together to send out to the public.
Yeah, 'cause I'll also need an extra notice for this too, 60 day.
Okay.
So in addition to our regular notices for the election, this one will be special.
Okay. And is this something that, I had a concern from someone that they thought with the new changes that the governor had made that we wouldn't be able to put this on the November?
I have a meeting today, this afternoon, with my Auditors Association.
Okay,
We're trying to digest that new file.
sure,
So, I haven't heard that personally, but
okay,
that'd be a good question if I need to ask it or just listen carefully.
okay.
Why isn't Benton listed on here.
It's North Benton Ambulance.
They don't have first responders there, then. Same way Blairstown.
My 2 cents as far as like, when we get those apps in for other commissions, we accept them after a date, so if we want to do it all at once.
Well, the people I'm worried about, they missed the deadline, are they gonna miss the meetings too?
Or did they just hear about it maybe late?
One of the individuals, they're new to the community but have worked, with another county, kind of putting this stuff together. And we talked yesterday, when they stopped by the station. And I just kind of asked for their input and some guidance, and I actually have to call them back today. He's like, was going to give me a yes or no answer if he would be interested in it. But again, that's solely up to you guys if you would allow someone to be on it after the date that was put out initially.
We'll put it back on, like you said, before you want to get his verbal yes before we appoint him.
Yeah, correct. I mean, I think any guidance in this matter, we're all kind of trudging new waters and,
I really don't see a problem with that.
I don't either, but I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
this is what I asked Anna, I harped about it
yeah,
a lot
yeah,
Thursday night, that I don't care who you appoint, but they better show up.
exactly.
This is where the discussion comes in that, well, if that person is either working the ambulance that day and can't get away, or the first responders are out on a call, there goes that town's vote that night. So, that's where we come in. It went from having 15, you're still gonna have 15
correct.
voters
Yep,
if they all show up. But you got 2 people that'll be a chance for each representative instead of one alone,
Correct.
so.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I don't have a problem extending that. Good morning.
So, we can either extend the date for the public to join this.
But if she wants to get moving to have a meeting yet this month, we probably don't want to push it up too
Well, you
far.
can approve these.
we can approve these and then any of the public ones
Right,
come in
let's
and
just
they
appoint
can,
them at that
Because
time.
you still got 2 towns right now,
That are short.
yes.
and I got a text message from Atkins this morning that they're going to work on finding someone, because that's the next biggest thing, is trying to find somebody that wants to fill that
Right.
that second spot. And so, I think as long as we have, we have one representative from each of those towns, and allowing the service director, to have that, they're the ones that should really be at these meetings anyways, so, that second person is just kind of that buffer for if they can't make it, so.
Because she's gonna come to us here, at a later date with these 2 names. She can come to us at that same time with the other people that may be interested. I
Okay.
don't see a problem. So do you need a motion to approve this list?
Yes, I do.
That's my motion.
Okay,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
And I'll list them out in there. For the district.
Do we need to decide on a date for the first meeting so that I can get that out to everyone? I know, it's one more meeting, and I'm thinking the same thing, I see you over there, Tracy.
Well, you're running out of month if you're trying to get it in now.
Well, really, all that has to happen is Well, I don't know.
They'll have to start, doing lots of decisions on what amount you're gonna ask and.
That's the biggest question when I've done just a couple presentations on just the general overall EMS of Benton County, and just kind of brought in the movement that we're trying to do with essentials. They wanna know how much they're gonna be taxed and what it's gonna be used for, and, so if we could, get those numbers and start getting those out to the public.
Well, let's try to pick a day during the week, works good for everybody. Now, Thursday, we had our last meeting, the 11th. So if you still wanna have one this month, the 25th would work for me, would we stick to a Thursday?
We can do any day, cause this is going to be,
I'm not available Thursday night.
Okay,
Golf league, sorry.
okay.
But maybe I don't have to be there as long as,
I think it would be important at least for the
First one, yeah.
first couple ones.
Thursdays are not good for me, unfortunately, sorry.
Well, how about the 29th's a holiday?
Like the 30th or 31st.
Okay. 31st.
31st. Maybe where do you wanna have this at? Do you wanna have it here, or do you wanna have it
Tracy and I discussed a little bit that I think this would be good so that if we could maybe, for those that can't come, we've been offering our EMS meetings with a Zoom option. We've had some participation. I think the technology in here is probably a little bit better than what we have. So if we could offer that as well for maybe those that have something going on
Do you have a Zoom license?
I do,
Okay, because I don't think Ben told us we don't even, right?
yes, I do.
Perfect.
So what time on Wednesday, the 31st?
Whatever time.
7 o'clock
7.
again?
Yep,
Here at the service. And you and I can work on, get some agenda items or
Yep.
whatever.
Technically, it's just kind of an informal meeting, right?
I think,
Trying to get everybody on the same page.
yep,
On your email that you sent out, I'm giving you a suggestion here. I'd maybe invite the alternates and the
yes,
voting members, both of them to come.
yes,
So they're on ground level when
Yes.
this gets started.
yes, I will do that.
Okay. And I guess the only thing, if you want our emails, can you get them off the county website?
Yes, I can,
Or I can email her.
Why don't you do that?
I'll put this in a directory and then I can send it back to you.
okay, yes, because I have a few others to update, but I felt the most important thing was just having
Yep,
the names of those.
Yep.
Sure.
Okay, Anna,
All right, well, thank you very much.
yep,
Thank you.
we're starting.
Ray is coming at 10 for their items, so.
Okay. All right, we might as well jump on number 11 then.
I think I did print some Vermeer stuff too, but. Or was this one different from the one I did? You sent an updated.
I sent the filled out version. I didn't end up bringing me bring
Okay.
copies, but I just signed everything.
Warranty is a bunch of crap.
Right, yeah. Well, so what makes me nervous about that is I think somebody should use it in the next 6 months. Because that's when everything's covered, is in the next 6 months, including travel, everything. After 6 months, it goes down to you have to pay for travel and some labor. So that's why I think it'd probably be smart to get some hours on it.
Bring these two guys up to.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
They-
oh, what the
Okay.
heck?
Yeah.
Vermeer reached out to me about the IRM wood chipper last week. And then I asked these two if I was allowed to sign for it or how that was all gonna work. So I did end up signing for the equipment. It is in our enclosed shop over at Rogers right now. We got the rundown on the basic training. We signed all over the paperwork all over. There's some copies of it. But there's a warranty on it where labor and travel time and everything is only covered basically for 6 months. So my concern is if you don't put some hours on it and soon, you don't know if there's something loose, I mean, we went over it, we went over maintenance of it. I mean, I was being obnoxious probably with the Vermeer guy, but I wanted to make sure we understood everything and that was the big concern there. So that's just the wood chipper update. But we have it, and then I need to know, coding wise, who's gonna fill in the reimbursement form, cause there's grants that cover, I think, 75%. But I already sent the line item that it comes out of. I talked to Wes or George, and I sent the line item that'll come out to Haley and Tracy, so. That's where I'm at with the wood chipper.
So are you able to utilize that anywhere?
We definitely can, yes. The old Creamery
They
Nature
should be able
Trail.
to use it, shouldn't they? I don't know why not.
I don't know, cause I don't know what kind of funding, if there's a rule on right of way versus road, but I'd like the old Creamery Nature Trail would be our number one
I
priority.
look at it, we ain't got the grant yet.
This is, yeah, okay,
Haven't been reimbursed.
We don't have it yet.
sure.
But we don't
Get the
wanna,
grant, huh?
we don't wanna get it so that we're not eligible either.
Right,
Just that.
yeah.
I believe it was 25,000.
The grant was? Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was a chunk of change.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Is there paperwork around on that? We can read through the,
I have a contact, so I can reach out to
ask
them.
them some questions.
That would be wise.
And then I have like a reimbursement form in the folder he gave me. So he did stop at my office and give me the IRM folder. I have not gone through it.
When's the expected date for that?
For reimbursement,
Yeah, for that.
I would assume a month after we turn in the
Yeah, we
claim,
got the grant, but you don't get paid until
you pay
you
for it.
physically have the chipper in your hand.
So all I gotta know is that we got
We
it.
got it, and we got it.
Well, and I think it has to show that the county paid for it, and you show the cleared check, and then when you show them documentation of that, then they write you a reimbursement check. So probably like a month or more out, would be my guess.
I would like, goal would be to have it by the end of the fiscal year.
Yes,
Sure.
and Vermeer would like the check sooner than later. He almost wanted me to have it right then and there, and I
Well,
told
of course.
yeah.
Well, we can get that one in for next week's claim run and then get all that paperwork.
Mhm.
And that would be, I don't know.
We'll have to keep it moving if we're gonna get it in by the end of the year.
Mhm.
And get all this reimbursement back.
June 30th, I'll be here soon.
Very, very, very soon.
And it doesn't give us a lot of time for amending or anything, so.
Mm-mm.
Might have to do some service area moving around next week.
So getting back to the weed department, this is where we have the problem right now. We only have one young man that just started in November.
Without a CDL?
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep. And this is a spraying season, they should be out right now, spraying. I've contacted Myron and about what was going on, and they really don't have anybody to help out.
They don't have extra
They're
hands.
shorthanded.
Yes.
So what are we gonna have to do, find somebody?
Do you guys have CDL? Do you guys go out and help?
I don't have a CDL.
Rick does, I bet.
Yeah, I do.
Doesn't that sound like fun?
5 mile an hour, all day long.
It's like the threats of plowing snow last winter, yeah, so. But,
Hey,
you know,
it's great any day.
if it
Sometimes-
doesn't get sprayed, it doesn't get sprayed. I mean, I don't know how we can do anything different. There's counties that don't spray. I know,
We don't
I
want
know.
that.
Can we, get an advertisement in the paper, 10 days, 2 weeks? See if we can find a CDL driver?
That's what I do.
Well, there was
What
a
a
part-timer last year.
I already contacted the man and he's not interested.
Are we
Okay.
gonna advertise for the opening anyway?
Yes.
So maybe we could just list it all in one ad for the weed department.
If you're gonna, but as been stated in, last week or before, by the time you run an ad, give time with it, you're gonna be where things are going to seed. So, about the time you get around to taking care of it. They could, you do have CDL people in your department?
No, all pesticide applicator, no CDL.
Okay. But you do have some people that can spray,
Right.
right? As I had discussed with Wes before he resigned, they've got that tonner down there, I think it is. You could, and it's got a sprayer on it, you could put a tank on it. You'd have to make more frequent trips. If you had somebody, and you don't have to have a CDL to drive the thing. So, as long as you got a driver and somebody with a pesticide permit, you can make it happen. You just gotta be 18 years old to drive. You don't have to be that, you gotta be 16. I
There's
think 18 to be
two-
smart.
There's someone there. There's two, I didn't even see it in. Yep, applicants, I think, for the seasonal position. I'm assuming that they could just be hired whenever and they could be the driver.
Yeah.
Orange,
Okay.
yeah.
Morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
So,
You got the applications out there?
No, I haven't looked at them yet. That's just what Wes told me. I haven't
Where are the applications?
on the county website.
Oh, they were printed off or nothing yet?
No, not that I haven't seen him. He left me, a couple of Post-its that have his password sign and stuff, so I can go in and look.
You're not creating more work for me, are you?
What's that?
You're not creating more work for
Oh,
me, are you?
tons more work. You know me.
I think you need your own attorney.
I do. We got a list.
We're looking for CDL drivers.
So I
just
mean,
looking for anybody, actually.
yeah, there's two applicants. I don't know how long ago that they applied. I don't know any of that. There could be more applicants on there. I haven't been on. So I guess it comes down to what, involvement, like per my email, how much help do you guys need? Our department wants to help. Of course, we're limited, just like secondary. Like where are we at?
I suppose even if we went down and looked at that truck and said, yeah, we can put a tank on it, if more than one of us goes, Haley has to go. Is that right? To look at it?
If you're discussing, taking action.
That's so stupid.
Well, it is being an open meeting.
Can you, Nancy, get into that webpage of the application?
We can, Ben and I can.
You guys can?
Ben and I
can.
can, as admins. But, I think you have rights too, don't you?
I do just for our department, and then Wes gave me his login information.
Yeah.
maybe we should see what kind of application there is.
I think he said, last Friday, he said there was just nobody with the CDL, but there were 2 applicants. last
Nobody
year.
with the CDL?
Correct.
We're still right at where we're at now.
But I don't know what it looks like now, it's just been open until closed, I think is how it's posted, so.
Is the young man that does work for us, is he gonna obtain his CDL? I don't know how long that takes to get,
It takes a while.
is it?
Now, the way the laws are, that's why I'm hoping that,
Yeah, well, it's
Could we
changed.
invest in him, like, say, hey, go get it now?
You gotta carry your permit for so long before you get an actual.
right.
And from what my understanding is, he's on the hunt.
Okay. So maybe we need to figure out just what we're gonna do with the department.
Trying to get closer to home, is what he's trying to do.
Gotcha.
So we could actually have no one in that department.
Sure.
Just Rick.
How long does it take to get a CDL?
No, it'd probably end up in the paper somewhere.
6 months.
You know, yeah.
Let's rerun the ad again. See what's out there.
Did you wanna change the wording on it?
Yeah, it should be changed to at least CDL driver.
Define his ad and tweak it. But I mean, what are you gonna do about the actual lead commissioner position?
Well, we're gonna. It's either fill the position, down the road, because I don't think we can fill it that fast.
But I mean, once we pay to advertise, you wanna put all of it in one and see what you get
Yeah.
Sure.
That's what I would say.
Yeah,
to save money?
More than
I would
one
think so.
position. It's gonna be more than one position. You're technically gonna hire at least 3.
minimum of 2,
Yeah,
for the part-time?
possible 3,
yeah.
yeah.
And the part-timers could be, the CDL drivers.
I'll try to get something up and then
Okay. Okay.
As the requirements for a CDL driver, being as there's new licenses and everything, I can understand why the prices would go up, so.
It'd have to be somebody that's already got a CDL. They're just not gonna get it just to drive spray truck.
Right.
we need a pesticide license for the sprayers.
I was,
But again, pesticide, they could, help with that.
I was told the other day that there's 10 jobs for every job that's being taken as a truck driver. There's 10 truck driving jobs for every one job that's being filled.
I think that's every job right now.
Yeah. It's, help wanted signs everywhere, so.
Well, let's start with that. The paper,
Makes sense,
they had-
it makes sense to me, otherwise, I figured you can get a 500-gallon tank on that truck. This is what I figured you could do,
How many gallons is the actual spray truck?
1,000.
So at least maybe they could assess the situation, go to the bad parts.
Well, problem with the 500-gallon tank, putting a tank on the truck is no big deal. It's the sprayer, the pump, the motor.
It's all there,
It is already?
it's all there, that's what I said, it's all there. All you gotta do is put a tank on it. I really think we need to go down and look at it. Okay,
We
I
could
really do.
Just recess and go there when we leave this building and look at it right after the meeting and.
Okay,
Perfect, perfect.
I don't have a key to get in. You got his number.
I have.
I have a phone
You got
number.
his number.
He put a key in a lockbox.
Yes.
Okay.
I have no idea what the code is, but
Okay.
he left that in the
All
folder
right.
too.
Yeah,
All right.
and John might be there,
Mm-hmm.
All right.
yeah,
Even so,
okay.
by the time, it takes me a half hour to get here, not quite. But Belle Plaine is gonna be another 15 minutes, be 45 minutes. So to get to the southern end of the county with a 500-gallon spray truck, you're just gonna be driving. That's all you're gonna be doing.
Yeah, but you fill up down Belle Plaine now, once you're down there, that's no big deal. Let's move on to,
Yep.
the county attorney. What do you got for us, guys?
Me.
Yeah.
Rosemary, in our office, will be retiring at the end of June. She's at that age where she's decided she's had enough, and we are looking to replace her. We had 2 applicants for the position, and we have offered the job to one of those at starting wage of $40,000. Rosemary is making 46, 47, somewhere in that range. This lady has secretarial experience, has done this type of work before. The other applicant for the position is currently employed in a position where I don't think we could have met her salary demands or benefit demands that she wanted. So we offered it to the other individual at $40,000. Can we tell them the name?
Yeah. It's,
Yeah.
it's,
It'll be by resolution, so.
Is it?
yeah.
Okay,
it's in-
gave a
it's in-
resolution.
Yeah, but a resolution, so.
Tim, if I may, we had a pretty good discussion, lengthy discussion last week.
Yes.
And since then, had time to think. You had mentioned that at that time, you've had 19 applicants for HR,
Yes.
but only 2 applicants for this position.
We did a nationwide search for HR,
Okay,
that's why.
well, nationwide, which, from what I understand, you advertise with the Gazette and they put it on search engines. That's how it becomes nationwide,
We
right?
did it through Indeed,
Okay, okay.
which is,
Did you do that with this position?
no,
Why?
because we don't want to spend that kind of money to advertise this position. I mean, I haven't in the past it hasn't been done that way for this kind of position.
I mean, that's what we're gonna be doing with this weed commission position or part-time position, putting it in the Gazette. Why wouldn't you guys? I mean, that just drove me nuts that only 2 applicants, you told me, Tim,
Mm-hmm.
and you just told us that, yet we had 19, and they're still, I presume, coming in.
I don't know, that was the last number I heard.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, well, it
And I
just-
don't know what.
I'm just wondering, did you reach out enough? How did you advertise?
That I don't know.
To the county website and posted it on the board and so.
So unless you came in and looked at the board or got on the county website, you wouldn't know it was,
The county website's, worldwide,
well, yeah.
so.
So's bjprimer.com, I get it. But, I'm afraid you haven't advertised enough. And you put it down as a paralegal here, and you told me this individual, Tim, does not have paralegal.
No, but we pretty much, everybody in the office is called a paralegal. We have one person in the office who has a paralegal certificate.
She
She has paralegal skills,
The
no question.
point I'm trying to get at is, it's like the sheriff's office, county attorney, you do things by the book. It's the legal
Technically,
department.
We only have to post it in our official newspapers and the county website normally.
Okay, then we'll get nobody, if we only do that, we'll
Well, I
get
know, I'm
nobody
just saying,
applying
but
for
that's-
anything.
That's normally the protocol, is how we have in the past.
Yeah, I don't buy it, but that's fine, So, I'm only one member. I'm just questioning that. Then my other question's gonna be, in the past, when we started somebody this late in the year, fiscal year, come the 1st of July, you know, everybody gets 7% raise. Are you including that in on this position?
Yes, because
Well, that doesn't seem right. Because we haven't done it in the past. Have we?
I don't believe we have.
I don't believe we have.
then we need to start at 42.5 because that's the minimum she's willing to take. And that was the lower,
Well, I think you need to do like the weed department, go back to the drawing board. Advertise it a little heavier.
Well, and I don't know what decision was made as far as advertising, I wasn't in on that.
I get it. You were on
But I
the
think it
hiring
was-
committee.
Huh?
You're on the hiring committee, right? Interview committee?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I, myself, Lori Sila, and Megan Hall did all the interviews, made the
Sure.
decisions
Yep.
based upon the applications we got, because both applicants were former employees of Ray's at one time. One in the farther past, one when he was still in private practice here recently. And we advertised it pursuant to, as Haley just said, what we normally do, what has always been done before.
I don't know that's a fact, but that's,
Well, that's what she just said, Rick.
I get it. She said that's the minimum that we do, Tim.
Okay.
But that's not what we have been doing, been advertising in the Gazette. I'm one person, it just looks like insider trading.
I don't know what more I could do to stay out of the process.
And Ray, I appreciate you staying out of the process. I'm just questioning, did you advertise it properly? Did you advertise far enough out there?
Did
And
we advertise properly? To answer your question, yes.
with that, did you
And
reach
that's
out?
properly, you
Did
said,
you
was it
reach out?
properly? That is properly,
Did
Rick.
you reach out far enough, you know?
Well, you said, was it proper? Yes.
Okay, that was part of a statement, okay? So, did you advertise it properly? Did you advertise it wide enough? Or was it just a little bitty group?
Okay.
Asking questions.
Okay.
That's what I was elected to do. Ask questions. Look out for the best interest of the county. That did not work out in the collection department. So,
What does that have to do with this position?
hiring people, that's all it's got to do. So, I'm not.
What
gonna go-
didn't work
I'm
out?
not gonna go there.
Well, you brought it up. Let's go there.
Okay.
What did not work out?
Okay, what has not worked out since we hired somebody in the collection department that did not have experience, we let someone go after 2 days, Tim, okay?
Yeah.
Because we felt they weren't a team player. You get outside counties then that look at that and say, are you really looking at my best interest? Buchanan County drops out. Bremer County, what are we, an 80-20 split instead of a 50-50 now? Isn't that what that is?
No, we're
Something close to that.
59-41.
But there's also that 50-50 split or whatever that ended up with.
Buchanan County made it clear, the reason they dropped out is because
Okay, I
they
got
wanted
that.
to
I
add
read
a
their
position.
letter. Ray, I read their letter.
Okay,
Now
well,
you
why
got
you say
Tama
that?
County that has joined the suit. What's that gonna lose Benton County? What is that gonna lose Benton County in the collections?
Because they have come back to the table and asked to renegotiate the agreements we had.
And why did they do that?
Because
Because
Buchanan
they lost
County's pointed
confidence
out,
in,
Well, first of all, you have one of those counties that has a new county attorney. Bremer County, they're the ones wanting to renegotiate.
Bremer
We
County
thought
has a
all-
new county attorney?
Bremer does,
Yes,
right? Yes. That Darius,
yes,
Artis
he came
Darius.
from Blackhawk County where he did collections.
Yes,
I don't
Blackhawk County
listen
did
to
their
that.
own collections,
Okay,
and he has done collections in the past. I'm surprised that they're just wanting to
I
renegotiate,
thought
not
they-
dropping out completely
Let's
and doing
go.
their own.
yeah, yeah.
I figured they might.
Okay, so going back to my original statement, we've had 2 applicants, which was on a very close-knit county website, obviously, and the bulletin board. The other positions we've been advertising goes with the Gazette. Okay? We have HR 19 as of last week. Really seems to be a mountain and a molehill difference
It's
here.
not because it's Indeed that's bringing those in.
Okay, that's fine. And again, like I said,
That's-
I'm one vote. I am one. So,
We only had 2 applications on the weed department, and that's been posted for 2 months, month and a half.
okay,
That's
so
the
far.
same way, and that's the same way.
Okay.
That's been in the papers, local papers, and our county website.
Again, Tracy, that's been advertised on a wider basis, correct?
Same thing.
That's our requirements.
Same
You
thing.
send it just like I send the minutes to the paper and the website.
It's fine, it's fine.
So, I don't know.
Actually, that one's also on the My County Parks website and stuff, so it's got a bigger reach.
See, and that would be your specifics.
Yeah, that's
We don't
our-
know
that's
that,
our
so,
group.
Right.
Yeah,
The
so that
last
goes a
time,
little further.
when we hired Megan Hall as an assistant county attorney, we got 2 applicants. And that was advertised everywhere.
Sure,
I think when Rosemary was hired, there was very few applicants.
Yep. When I was hired back in 2019, there were
I
3
just
or
asked a
4 at
question.
most.
That's all I did was ask a question.
Mhm.
And then we'll get into this big stink. So, and I created the stink.
Okay.
So, okay, let's move on. So you're not asking for 40, you're asking for 42.5.
Right.
There, you don't have any surprises.
Now, will she get the 7% then come July?
No, not if you do
Not at
42.5.
42.5.
No,
Okay.
she won't.
Okay. So it's all out in the open.
Yeah. The only other thing I asked for was the 37.5 hours sick leave that you've been giving because of COVID. We just had COVID in the office last week, so it's still alive and well.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, an employee missed 5 days because of it.
Okay, call for a motion.
I'll move we hire.
Okay, I'll second it. You probably won't.
I probably, I know you don't need a third.
All right, call for a vote. Yes, for
Beer shake
me.
aye.
No,
Okay, Seaman,
I
aye
said,
for me.
I'm one vote.
Yep,
That's
Okay.
fine.
you got her.
And I'll just tweak that resolution.
All
Or
right.
do you want to leave, I'll start it at 42.5.
Yeah, with no increase in July.
Okay.
That's fine.
Okay. Now we'll move on to the HR.
Oh, on number 11,
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, because we're gonna do the weed department's ad. Shelby's gonna help us get the applicants that we currently got.
Yeah, I can pull that up with his login. Unless I can't log in, then I'll let Ben know.
Okay.
He can just get it for you.
And to be clear, you're advertising that where?
My County Parks, it's the county conservation system across the state of Iowa, where like the colleges and all of that check.
Okay,
So let me
which
get
is a
that-
good idea.
let me
Yeah.
Get that ad tweaked.
We also reach out to colleges, Kirkwood, Iowa State, all the places that have environmental
I'll be
groups.
darned.
That's how we advertise. We have to, because we're not getting applicants in either.
Okay, all right,
You gotta reach as far as you can.
of course.
Nobody
So-
wants to work anymore.
Do you throw it in the Gazette?
I don't know where he,
Because
I'm
that is
assuming he
our-
did, yeah.
Because that's one of our official
Yeah.
papers, so we have to pay.
Well, I mean, we do, yes, but this was all done prior to Wes leaving, so I don't know where he,
Okay.
I just added
don't-
to it.
Yeah, I wouldn't have a clue.
yeah,
Yeah, okay, good. You gotta reach out.
yeah.
If you want applicants, you gotta reach out. It's just like Gary said.
I think that was in the Gazette, come think about it, because
I
I
think
remember
it had
a
to have been,
bill,
yeah.
remember a bill that was,
Yeah, we
From
did
the
get that
Gazette.
already.
right?
Yeah.
Okay,
But Wes only advertised for, didn't he advertise just for
Yeah, the seasonal.
part-timers?
That's the only thing that's out right now, right?
Yeah, not for a weed commissioner, as you indicated,
Right.
just, yeah.
No, but then
Yeah.
you guys voted to post that, and then when Haley
Right
finds it,
now we
whatever.
did,
Yeah,
yes.
so then once all of that gets posted, then I'll share it on those as well,
Okay. You're gonna reach far and wide.
hopefully.
I hope so too. You know, because we can't have these departments without
Right.
people,
Agreed.
yeah, so.
okay. Human Resource Department. You got any meetings set up?
Well, the ad was running for 30 days from what
Yeah, so the
I
end of the
gathered.
month, that's what I heard. I
I
can
don't
comment
know
on that
when
if
they
you want.
started, you know.
Can I comment on the
Please.
email? Okay. I am aware of a couple of other departments that have kind of like ongoing or new developing personnel issues. And we, as department heads and or employees, need to know who to go to in the meantime. And I just request that be clear in a meeting, potentially like an interim vote.
Because I know when she wanted to reach out to the Heartland gentleman, we knew there was a cost, but are you giving authority to all these individuals to reach out to them?
And then they directed us back to the auditor's office. So then I called Tracy and I'm like, hey, I'm being sent in circles. Can we please clear this up? Because if they're gonna direct them to the auditor's office, I think I can speak on the county as a whole right now, that's fine. We just need somebody to go to.
Well, I've got an issue,
Okay.
and I need to clarify and clear something up. It was brought to my attention that I don't know my job. And so, and the auditor's office doesn't know what they're doing, and that's why we shouldn't be involved with HR. And I believe that the example used was I told a salaried employee that they are expected to work 5 days a week. And that is in the handbook. Whether they hit 40 hours in 4 days or not. You've got Mark Greenlee that did. You got Scott Hansen on EMA that works more than 40 hours a week. He's a salaried employee. Shelby, Myron.
Yeah.
So
we
don't
did take
be putting
offense.
out in public, I don't know my job.
That was very offensive, and Nancy.
I don't know that I said you did not know your job.
I didn't say it was you.
I know you didn't, but it was myself that brought it up, okay? There was a conflict as to 40 hours, and the email said you must work 5 days as a salaried employee,
It did.
okay? And I said it was conflicting, and I never
So why
said
would
that
you not
Nancy
come
does
to
not know.
me and ask me about
I would
that?
never say Nancy did not know her job. And if I remember, I had this discussion with this gentleman.
Says you do not know your stuff. I've been told that's on
I
tape.
did not say
That's not
that,
where,
Nancy.
it did not come from him.
I don't care where it came from,
But we have.
okay? I know
that's
how the
upsetting.
rumor
It's-
mill works.
This was
You
brought to
know?
my attention on a day that I was holding county meeting. I was doing an HR job because it was open enrollment period.
Sure.
And I'm holding this meeting for the county, and then I'm hearing this.
Okay.
I would just
It was
appreciate the
conflicting.
respect. If there's an issue, you come to me. Instead of
Yep.
making that
So-
opportunity out in the public.
Going back to her question, I would state that if it is something like sexual harassment, I'll pick on that. I have no clue what your issues are, that sounds like a legal question, okay? And you would seek legal advice from the county attorney. If it's something about hours, Nancy's the gal that handles the payroll, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and so she knows that part. Does that answer your question?
What about FMLA?
Okay. FMLA, this is interim while we get there. You guys handled that in the past, is that correct?
We have.
Okay. Mhm. If you've handled it in the past, why wouldn't you fill the shoes?
That's what we said from the get-go.
But you're telling us we should not be doing that because it's above our duties. So that's what we're trying to get clarification.
Sure,
So.
I know. Rick's the bad guy. I get it. I don't have a
Well, I
problem with
just
that.
don't think you
I
should
really
be
do not
sharing
have a problem with
emails from
that.
other county
Okay.
employees to other people. That's a HIPAA violation as well. So,
Okay, so that's what I would state, is that if it is FMLA, things that they've handled in the past, if it's a legal question, you go to the courthouse, up to Ray's office.
Okay.
That's what I would state. What would you state?
Well, what little bit I know about one issue that's going on now, that should be outsourced, in my opinion.
Okay,
We kind of started that, right?
We started that.
Yeah.
okay.
That should be outsourced.
Is that who you went through with Heartland?
Yes.
It's what they recommended it. She contacted, and you contacted Heartland. Heartland
Because at
looked
that
at the
time,
situation and everything, and they dropped it back on the auditor's office.
Well, it's
Said
cool.
if they don't want to do it, then this is a person you want to have call to get involved in the
Right.
situation.
Mhm.
and at that time
I advised them
is,
to do it,
Okay,
to solve this issue that's going on, because it's been going on for over a year.
from what I understand, if it's the same one, it kind of cooled its heels
For a while.
while we had an HR director.
For a while.
Yeah. Why are we still putting up with it?
See, I don't know the circumstances, I don't
Yeah.
wanna know.
it depends on the employee and what certifications and classifications they have. And that's why we passed it on to a lawyer, because there are different stipulations and
Right.
regulations.
So regardless, if the HR director, they would probably still have to
They would
outsource it
still,
as
and that
well.
did happen with the previous department when we had an HR director. She reached out to the Heartland lawyer, employee lawyer, and helped deal with it
Yeah,
that
I'm
way.
surprised they handed that back because I think that's what he does.
I think sometimes there's clarification needed based on the county, and so they want somebody in county to answer that specific question. And I think that's why I got sourced back to the auditor.
And they wanna make sure that the county's
Payroll and stuff.
aware.
Yeah, so they want communication
Oh,
between.
they want basically someone to keep in the loop.
Right,
Yes, a go-to.
because then that
Sure.
way, when they step away, there's still somebody there, or if I were to step away, whatever, you know,
And
you'd
when
still have
somebody's on
somebody.
workman's comp, we have to adjust their paycheck, so we have
Sure.
to be in the
Yes.
loop.
That's totally
Right.
different than just saying, here, you got it back. You want somebody
Right.
in the loop.
Right, and they
Yeah.
sent back like, hey, check with your auditor's office on this, and I'm like,
But we didn't know because nothing was decided and declared what's happening in the interim.
Sure.
which is why I called Tracy, and I was like, help, and since personnel issues are generally, you know, you want to make a decision in 30 seconds to 4 hours before things get carried away, then
Before it escalates.
yes, so I was like, shoot, I need to figure out who to go to. And a couple of other departments, employees, just so they know where to go, so it's clear that, you know,
Sure.
And to
start at
be
the auditor's
honest-
office or raise, and then they can send it where they need to from there.
Makes
To
sense.
be honest, our office has had employees from numerous departments say, I wanna speak with you. Or who am I gonna have to speak with? I'm not comfortable.
Sure.
And I'm not patting ourselves on the back, but I'm just telling you what the county employees are telling us.
Yeah, we hear everything. We hear the good, the bad, and the ugly. So,
So do we.
I know.
And then
Yeah.
some.
So. That was my recommendation. Tracy, what's yours?
Mine is, just like what we somewhat been doing. You're in charge of 99% of it, and then when it's a problem you cannot handle, then you outsource this, hire that attorney
Right.
that specializes in this.
Do I keep track on my timesheet then what time is being utilized as HR and what time is being utilized as auditors, deputy auditor?
You never did before, did you?
No, it was
We did
part of our
not.
office before.
I think if you keep track of that, you're gonna end up having to split it out of different budgets.
Would it be difficult to keep track of it?
No.
I mean, I'm gonna pay those outsourced bills with HR line items current.
I just wanna make sure we're all on the same
Yeah.
board,
I'd keep track of it, just keep track of it.
okay?
Just for curiosity, that way you got a number or figure, a time you can throw in somebody's face, and I've been doing this.
Okay.
not necessarily separated out of the budget.
No,
Okay,
No, on my
because I was gonna
timesheet.
say that'd be a nightmare.
no.
Yeah.
Well, I do that too, so
Yeah, no, just,
document it on my
Yeah.
timesheet.
yeah, I've been pretty good at making other people do a lot of more extra work here lately, so.
And I'm fine with it, I just wanna know that I have that support.
Yep, you got it here.
Yes, because she was ready to walk out the other day.
There's been a lot of people ready to walk out and some already have, so,
Well, I don't think she deserved that comment, though.
that it was conflicting.
Know that I don't know my stuff.
And I never said that, as I said. Now, you know how rumor mills get and how I could tell Gary something and he could tell Tracy, and by the time it gets over to you, it's all a different story. We all know that. We played that game in kindergarten, so.
Understood, now your job again? Thanks, Nancy.
I'm waiting for Judy as well.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
she's a part of that.
Okay.
Nancy does a good job. And I'll always back her, so.
Update at Hannah, what's going on there?
Everything's getting leveled.
Yet, still?
I think they're starting
They're not
this
drilling
week,
holes yet?
next week. Huh?
They're not drilling holes from the poles?
I don't think so. Just waiting on them.
Okay.
They're still saying enclosed by July, so
Wow,
we'll see.
but once they get,
Yeah, once they get going, it'll be a whole show.
Are they Amish?
No,
No.
they are not. Our routine wells, really quick, while we're waiting, our routine well samples in the campground's going good, and our well 2 sample came back good.
Good.
Everything is coming back good, so now we can work on rearranging that well how it needs to be.
Changing the well heads out
Yeah.
of the pits.
We got a little bit of that to do, and raising them up and everything, so we're gonna hold a certified well people.
So 2 out of 3 are okay?
1,
1 out of 3?
yes,
Well, that was at the nature center, right?
yeah.
I thought the one out there, not the shop, but your other one.
The campground,
Yeah.
so that one as it sits technically is okay, but it still needs raised about 20 inches, and then
Right,
all of that.
he just said that, raising it, yeah.
Yeah, so that one's sitting okay, they're looking on, the code, because it is, the pressure tank is in the pit and all of that.
Mhm.
So when the pressure tank comes out, we're gonna have to do a lot of line work, hauling stuff to the shower house and then back, and kind of doing some rerouting, but they're letting us kind of essentially grandfathered in for that one until something goes wrong.
Okay.
Besides the fact that we have to bring it up sooner than later. Just waiting on numbers and scheduling for that. And then the other one has to do a lot more work to it, but raising
Up at
it,
the shop.
yeah,
Mhm.
but raising it first and foremost is the thing.
So are you gonna be able to open the campgrounds?
They're open,
Okay.
and water's running and on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
When this work gets done, we'll have to shut down for about a week for water. So no public bathrooms, no dump station, no anything.
yeah,
Cause then we have to shock, well, probably be more than a week, cause then we have to shock, wait 3 days, flush, and then test, and then we have to get a good test back before we're allowed to open back up.
Wow.
So, and that's just to have them raised, so we were trying to ask if they could wait until after the 4th of July, but I think we're gonna have to basically do it right after Memorial Day, and then, which is very inconvenient, cause Father's Day is a huge weekend for us, so
sure.
fingers crossed,
Okay.
gotta
Cool.
schedule around that, so.
you didn't go to the courthouse first, did you?
No,
Okay.
I knew, I
I
told her.
thought I remembered.
I told her.
Yep, I got it. I think that's all. Is there any other follow-up? Shop? Waiting on DNR permitting for the shower house, for ARPA,
The Vermeer stuff.
the Vermeer stuff.
The ad-
And you have the code for that, I sent you what that should be, so I don't need to do anything with that, cause they'll sign off on it.
Yep.
Cool. I think that's everything.
I think so.
I'll download those applicants.
You still got a copy of the job for the seepage bed from Matt?
Oh, the design, yeah, for Wildcat?
Yep,
Mhm.
okay,
Yeah, we got, I sent that to the DNR,
okay.
and they said everything looks good. Something about the depthness, just make sure whoever does it double checks this. They had one comment and that was it, so they said otherwise you're good to go there. We just need to have an engineer sign off on it since it's a well, so.
Okay.
And then line it all up. Okay, anything else for me? Well, I'm still here.
No. One quick thing, the chipper.
Yes.
That runs on depth too?
No,
It don't?
it's gas.
Oh, it's gas?
It's gas. It's bigger because it's gas. Thank you, Tracy.
All right, Judy,
Yes, how are you guys doing?
good.
Oh, good. So, this year, we, as of December
Good morning.
2nd, we have a new broker.
Thank you.
And that is Holmes Murphy, and so Mary Griffin heads that up for Holmes Murphy. And then we also deal with Veronica Coster, so, and then this is Nancy, and that's Haley.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Everyone, I guess they'll have their name.
The meeting there?
No, Mary was there.
I was there.
Yeah, you were.
Veronica, yeah.
Yeah, Veronica was not.
Yeah, so anyway, so we have a new partnership with Holmes Murphy, which is going great. So I'll just go ahead and start out here, and then I'll let Mary take over and give some information, and we'll just kind of go back and forth on that. So, the first thing that I just wanted to thank everyone for getting the property values up. That's something that had been talked about for several years, I believe, and not sure if people looked at it or what the situation was, but we got it out to everyone, to all the departments, and that has been taken care of this year. So that's
Big
that-
thank you to Tracy.
so that was, I mean, we had CBiz come out last year. Heartland had contracted with CBiz and had them come out and provide replacement cost evaluations of the buildings, and so utilize that information and those that has been done. So that, and then that's kind of where you'll see the difference in your premium, and Mary can go over that too, but
We got that tower thing all figured out, right?
yeah, and I looked at, I
Okay.
just looked at that, and
Perfect.
it's all added on there, so,
Alright.
yep, I think everything is clear now, so, yep, so everything's on there that wasn't on there before and things, so, but we would, ask that you just check it
Yeah,
over
double
again,
check this one.
yep, but, so I'll go ahead and let Mary kind of take over and.
Perfect, thank you. Nice to meet everybody and those that I have already met. Good to see you again. So this is your renewal comparison year over year. You'll see, and I'm gonna apologize because when we normally do these, we do them left to right. So I always have to remember which way I'm going on your documents. So you'll see the main one is your property insurance. You'll see that is a big jump in your premium, but that is directly related to your exposure, your property value increases. That one, as well as the equipment breakdown, because that goes hand in hand with your property valuations. So as you can tell, just because it's completely related to your exposures, your rates did not change. I always like to remind you guys, and I know you probably already know this, that you guys the counties are so insulated from the standard market. I don't know that I don't know the last time I've seen a property rate not increase. But so you guys are definitely insulated from what the standard market is doing. I don't think you said rates have not changed since the early 2000s?
Yeah, since the early 2000s, and that's just the pool, that's the Heartland pool, and that's the benefit of all the counties being in the pool, that those rates have stayed the same, not only for the property, but liability, and auto, the auto and everything. So that is one of the great benefits that we wanna always remind the counties of, sharing that risk with the other, with the 10 counties, and the pool's been able to leave those rates the same, and then the pool, through the surplus, they absorb those increases from the market, so.
Correct. So the only other increases that you will see are related to some exposure increases. Your inland marine went from 5.2 to 5.7 in valuations.
Employees went up a little bit, so that's where you're seeing your E&O, your law enforcement, went down a little bit. General liability expenditures just slightly up. Same thing with your vehicles. Your payroll is just slightly down year over year. Your mod factor did jump up a little bit, went from a 1.2 to a 1.38. Any questions on any of this first page? Okay. The second page, this just kind of goes over your premium credit. Do you want to go over that, Judy?
Yeah, so the premium credit, that's something that the Heartland pool, that the Heartland board, they decide on each year. So it is ranged from, you know, 100 to 350,000, the different premium credits that they've given over the years. This year they decided they were a little more conservative and just went with 100,000. I think maybe last year it may have been 300,000. This year they were conservative and went with the 100,000. So that is then allocated between the 10 counties, and then that's where your premium credit comes from on here. So if you're kind of used to seeing a little bit higher premium credit, just know that the trustees, the Heartland board, they wanted to be a little more conservative this year, and so that's where the difference in that is.
Any questions, excuse me, on that? All right, the next document, I'm going to tell you how many pages back, but this is your coverage summary that we put together. So a couple of pages in, you'll see your Holmes Murphy team, myself and Veronica Bailey, who right now is out on maternity leave, but is an integral part of your day-to-day service. So anytime you have a vehicle or equipment change or need to add some property, that is the team, Veronica and Bailey, that you would contact. Troy is your loss control consultant. I believe he has been out to Benton at least once, if not twice. Megan, who's also out on maternity, I don't know what's going on at Holmes Murphy. She is your claims consultant.
Check the water, huh?
Right? I'm glad that I'm too old for that, so I can drink it all I want. Miles, who some of you have also met, he is your cyber expert, so we brought him in on the team as cyber and executive risk expert for the team. And then Christy is also in the risk and safety, but she runs our KPA electronic system. So back here, and I'm not gonna go through this page by page, don't worry. This is just a quick snapshot summary of all of your coverages. This is specific to Benton County. This will tell you that what is currently in place, what is going to be in place with the current program that you have should we renew. We are looking at some other potential property programs as well to kind of expand the coverages, but this is what it would be with the current carriers. So this just goes through line by line what your limits are, what your deductibles are. Certainly if you have any questions on any particular line or on any of your coverage, feel free to give any one of us a call, as well as giving Judy a call, and we can answer any questions that may come up. The document behind is the schedule of exposures from Benton County. So this will have your statement of value, so all of your buildings and what your valuations are of those buildings going into the 7/1 renewal, along with the contents in each one of those buildings. Did you want to make any comments on that?
Yeah, so, we just were asking everyone we were really focused on getting the buildings and the property updated, but just make sure about the contents now as you're looking back through it, that, if something needs, updated for the contents, just you want to make sure, and that can all be added by May 31st. So any changes that will be applicable need to be in by May 31st, and
We'll probably send this out to each department again.
Yeah, and just have them take a look at it and make sure everything looks good, and then if there's any other changes, then those can be done through May 31st. And
Good to know, thanks.
Yeah, and then after that, after May 31st, and once the Heartland board has another meeting on June 15th, and once that is finalized with the carriers, then I'll be sending out the invoicing after that
Would we
Yes.
send any updates or changes to you or to Veronica,
Yeah,
or?
you could send it to me and Veronica, or directly to Veronica is fine too.
Okay.
So, yeah, so anything with the changes on the schedules, Veronica handles all of that, so.
Okay,
So, yeah, and then we'll be doing the invoicing, to come out in June, so like around June 20th. And then, go ahead.
Yeah, so just the rest of the schedules, will list your autos, your mobile equipment, so anything that leaves any particular site, such as, lawn mowers or snow blowers or, any of that stuff would be on the equipment schedule. So the schedules are all broken down by line as well. So if you just wanna take a quick look at those over the next, week or so and let us know if there's anything that needs to be changed on those, that would be great. And then once we have all of the final numbers, so any changes that you might make, and the final premiums from the excess carriers, then, there is a sheet at the very back. This is just an authorization to bind. We'll just need somebody to sign and date that.
And you can get that.
Everybody's looking at Tracy, so I'm assuming that means that he's gonna be
the chair. Yeah, you're the chair.
Perfect.
He was the one that helped, because we sent it out and then we were just having to light a fire, so he helped us get that going.
do we know that new chipper that was being discussed this morning?
If that was
I don't
listed.
believe I've received any information on that, and I need to get that insured probably.
Yeah, because it was expensive piece of equipment.
She's got the bill, 67.
All right, so I'll scan that in and send that to Veronica,
Yeah,
and she
perfect.
have all the information on
Yeah,
it.
perfect, we'll get that added right away. And I'm
Has the
assuming you
serial
want that
number
to
and
be
stuff.
added right away, not,
Correct.
Probably,
Yeah.
'cause
Perfect. Yep.
we've got possession
We're in
now.
possession.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, yesterday at 11 o'clock.
okay, perfect.
66,850.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, absolutely, just send it and just let us know when you acquired it and we will add it as of yesterday.
Okay. Is there anything else that we've acquired equipment-wise like that? Secondary Roads is good about letting me know.
Well, I was gonna say, the last two things that they purchased, I know, well, they got a truck
Who's
a
that?
month and a half, Secondary Roads.
Okay,
They
yep,
just got a truck, and they
that's
should
already
have
been taken
that.
care of.
The two John Deere maintainers, that was in the December or January. They took
That's-
them, it should be
Yep,
listed already.
but like within the last month, 6 weeks,
Not to
is that
my
the only
knowledge.
thing that West got going was the chipper, there's nothing
Yep,
else?
there's nothing that,
Okay.
to my knowledge,
Sheriff possibly might get some vehicles before
He needs to get rid of
Yeah.
4 vehicles.
But that's
Yeah.
a constant, we're
Yeah,
always.
right, that, yeah,
See,
so
the
you just send that in
conservation, we
whenever
got
that
builders
happens.
risk
anyway,
insurance.
so.
on the building whenever it gets started.
Yeah,
Now, the only other thing is, make a note, mental, I'm pretty bad at that. The shower house up to Wildcat, it's in a process, so when that actually shows up,
That'll be just like Hannon, right now it's covered under,
we'll just
The
need to update it when
contractor,
it's
correct.
complete.
it's, yeah, I
yeah,
mean, it's,
but it'll have to be added
yes, it'll have to be
Yeah.
on
added,
completion.
yeah,
Yep,
Both that Wildcat and Hannon,
yeah.
for sure.
yep.
Yeah.
I'll just make a
Yeah.
note of it, and make sure
But I'm
I
just
get it
saying-
done.
Wildcat, when this thing comes in on the semi, I'd wanna insure what's on the property, even though it's not done and installed. Cause there's no building risk insurance on this thing, when they crane it off the trailer and set it.
So, can I ask a question?
Sure.
So when you have those delivered, is there a contract with the company that's delivering them and craning it and putting it on, that they are responsible for that?
Usually the carrier would have,
I
you know,
don't know.
cargo insurance.
Correct, but the
Usually.
craning part of it is a little bit, can be
And,
different.
and usually a craning company would also have a liability
Perfect,
insurance.
yes, they
Yeah.
usually do, but
Yes.
sometimes I just wanna make
Then
sure
once
that-
they
perfect.
disconnect from it, which is where
Yes.
Tracy's coming from,
Yeah.
we should
Put it,
Yeah,
have it covered even though it's not fully connected.
Yeah,
I would agree with that.
Yeah,
Okay, I just was making sure for my own knowledge
Yeah.
that,
it's gonna be a plug and play kind of thing,
yeah,
so,
there you
yeah.
go.
so, because it's not actually, I mean, it's coming already built.
no. don't think it's built yet, but I mean,
Is it like a
it's
kit?
a concrete
Structure.
shelter, more or less.
Oh,
It's gonna
okay.
have bathrooms and showers and everything in it, but it's concrete, and it's gonna come in one piece, and they crane it off the trailer and set it on the foundation, and then you just hook your wires and your pumps and everything up, and it's done. But I mean, and it's coming out of state.
Kinda like a shed, delivering a shed,
Yeah.
you
Okay.
know, to your backyard.
Yeah.
Except this is an outhouse.
I got
A
that part of it.
sophisticated
Yeah.
one.
So I mean, I think that as long as, I think you can add it to the property once it's put down.
Sure.
And I guess, see, then the other thing is, another special note you can make, on Hannah Lake, the restroom by the
The old shop.
beach area will
Oh.
be coming down here in November. Right now, it's insured.
So it'll be that way till it's done in November,
Till it's
then I
gone.
contact them,
Yes,
Right.
yes, but I'm just saying things to,
look at it.
yeah, if
Okay.
you got the notes,
And the only other things, I think Mary kind of touched on Troy being lost control, and so I think that's been going good. He's, like he made the initial visits and had recommendations from those visits, and then now for his second quarter visits, coming out doing training and things, so I know he's getting out to all the counties for that, so I think that's been going well.
I think he was here last week.
Yeah, I think he said he has I think he only had 2 more counties left to do to get the second quarter in, so.
Yeah, he has been here within the last week or two.
Okay, good. And then again, and he's always available too, if you have, if you have questions about the recommendations or anything going on, you can always contact him on that, so. And then the only other couple things that I wanted to mention were, the harassment prevention training. The Heartland Board will have to, we're still discussing this on what they end up approving, but Holmes Murphy, we have access to the KPA system through Holmes Murphy, and so there is harassment prevention training on that system that people who have computers and things might prefer to utilize, and Nancy has access to assign that training if that's the way that you would want to go. And then the other thing we are going to discuss with the board is if approving in-person training, and so we have the availability to have a Holmes Murphy, the legal counsel for Holmes Murphy to come out and do that in person. And I am kind of recommending to the counties, if it's possible, I know it always works well for secondary roads to do the in-person, but whoever else that might work for to do the in-person, it would be nice, just because it's been so long. I think it's probably maybe 2019 is the last time.
Yeah.
I mean, Tammy was available to come out if someone wanted in-person, but actual, set
I
up.
think Yon was the last.
He was, yeah, and that was 2019. So yeah, so if there's any, I'm kind of encouraging, if that's what the board approves, that everyone who can attend the in-person, I think it'd be nice since it's been, this many years. And then the only other thing is the employment practice seminar is scheduled for September 14th, and it's at the Tama County Nature Center, which is at Otter Creek, and I'm just encouraging everyone to come. If you haven't been to it yet, I'm encouraging all the supervisors to come if they can. We're gonna have some new, we'll have different presenters than what you've had in the past. Troy is probably, we're gonna think about having him do something on fire safety, maybe a workplace violence one, and just some other ones. I think most of you know, but Carl is retiring, and so he's gonna be done at the end of July into August, and I don't know if he'll be available for consulting, but he's done at his office then, and so we've got Joe Gamble and Kent Gummert handling the litigated things, and then we have an employment law attorney, Brent Henders, who's stepping in to deal with employment issues, and got brought up at the other meeting, the Heartland Board, like a topic that maybe Brent could cover, and he is going to be able to come to the employment law as, discussing possibly open meetings, closed sessions and things like that. And I'll probably just kind of try to have him do a thing similar to what Carl had done in the past, ask him questions on, anything general, a session at the end. So that's kind of what we're looking at for that, so
What's the
I'm
date?
just, yes,
What's the date?
September 14th.
September 14th.
I usually
We've
start
had
at
some good
9.
times.
10, yeah, get there, you can get there early and you can have some great
Yeah, those
Oh,
breakfast.
lunches.
Yes, lots of good food, you get there early, and then lunch is served there, of course, and then we, it lasts
We're
probably.
really throwing a lot of ideas at you, for
Yeah.
topics. aren't
Yes, yes, so, which is good, we like that, so anyway, that's kind of where we are, and any questions or anything?
Nancy, one thing I just happened to think to put on the list, too, is, didn't the maintenance just get a new mower last week?
There was a mower that was
I
added,
just added it, I believe.
Cool.
Yeah, 'cause I
Way
think-
ahead of me.
let's see,
We
on May
traded.
8th,
Right.
an Exmark Laser 60
Yes.
inch
Yep,
mower.
that's
Yep, it's
it.
on there.
All right, you
Way ahead
guys
of
you're all up to date.
We do the inventory in our office also, so that helps.
Yeah, very perfect.
Okay.
All right, well, thank you for your time today, and if
Thanks
there's
a lot,
any
Judy.
questions, let us know, so.
Good to see you, ladies.
Everybody, nice to see you.
bet. We'll see you.
Drive safe.
Thank you.
Melinda must have been watching the meeting. She said to get a CDL, they have to take the entry-level driving training online and then pass the CDL test. So once they get the permit, they have to hold the commercial permit for at least 14 days and then their driving exam. So that's the new changes. Delayed, just referring that to you.
Okay.
I didn't know how that worked either.
Well, the three things I was gonna touch on, which I already did, the tower updates, EMS, she was here, and the chipper, only update, so.
Okay.
You were gone, do you have any meeting? Okay.
Which even being gone, I Zoomed meetings. I didn't have any,
Okay.
so,
Motion we adjourn?
Well, we're
No,
gonna
no,
recess to go down
yeah.
to the
Excuse
recess.
me.
So,
Okay.
Motion to
To
recess.
recess.
yeah. Okay, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.